Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back for some more EVE Online, and well, I'm actually doing a little bit of exploration, and this is the first signature that I scan right here in detail as I undock in my Ishtar Sanchez Nation occupied mining colony. The perfect site to start, of course, 4 out of 10, potentially the very best loot. Let's hope that I'm first on site, of course. We never know about that, but that would be a pretty good start. And while we hopefully get the site, we of course start scanning the other signature. Let's get through that gate. Let's get our sentry drones ready. Mobile tractor unit is ready as well, and that one is a wormhole, so we get all the information for the system. Let's see if we're first. Yes, we are. Awesome. And let's see if we can run this in record time, because, well, 13 people still in local, so we could expect some competition. Main reason, of course, why I love this Ishtar so much. You can see this right here. We've got an analyzer as well, so if you find some data sites, potentially relic sites, although those tend to be really bad, we can run those as well. And with these sentry drones, just look at that. Just like with the Jackdaw, we can split our damage up in order to try and optimize basically the shots. That's the way I see it, at least, right? If I have 2 shots to destroy one, it's really not a good idea to have all 5 of them firing at one of these small targets. Like this, we can basically optimize the amount of destruction based. Can I hit that with my lasers? No, but we will by the time they get into range. There we go. So that's really the advantage, of course, of having split damage. You can maximize the amount of shots that will actually do damage to all of these targets from every single sentry drone. So you can see one shot is usually all of the shields. Second one can take him down if we're lucky, but there's really no need for all 5 of them to fire at one of these small targets. So that's where we avoid doing as much as possible. And then within 30 we can also add our laser fire. Well, not even needed for this one. And then we switch back to focus fire, all 5 of them on a cruiser. That makes sense because, well, they've got plenty of HP, and so we get several full volleys on these cruisers before we take them down. Then we start to work from closest to furthest. So there we go. Slaughter is next. Again, go all of them. And this is truly why I love the Ishtar so much. With its drones, it can adapt to virtually any situation. Even if you would have super small, super fast targets, you've got small drones with you as well. If you need the utmost in DPS, you've got 5 large drones. It's really something that can basically handle a maximum number of circumstances. And I love this playstyle as well. It's like a small carrier. It's got its small fleet of sentry drones that are just hanging around it and that are doing all the work, firing constantly these little blasters, green blaster shots at the targets. It's really cool, really satisfying to see how all of this works, and pretty efficient as well, I think, as in just a couple of minutes we are at the final cruisers. The one disadvantage is, of course, that if we keep going like this, I'm gonna sit away from the gate as we destroy the final target. In something like a Gila, you can travel straight to the gate, and right as the final target is destroyed, you can immediately take the warp. But most of the time, I personally feel like we're fast enough that competition tends to come in after we've cleared the first room. And as a result, with the Microwarpdrive, it's just a short bounce to the gate, so it's probably worth it. This guy is still at 15 kilometers, but you can see here we still have full damage potential on them. And yeah, you can see all 5 sentry drones useful here for several volleys. And there we go, first room has been cleared. Let's move to that acceleration gate. And then we have to get everything ready, of course, for room number 2. If you want to play it like this, you have a mobile tractor unit and you prioritize the loot pinata, the true Sansha, first, of course, because once you get other wrecks on the field, your mobile tractor unit is going to start with those, and then it's hardly worth it anymore to have that mobile tractor unit. You might as well just go and scoop the loot yourself. We are cap stable, but at like probably 35% capacitor, I think, so only just. As a result, I do try to sometimes take a little bit of a break from the armor wrapping. Here we go, room number 2. Just look for that T for True Sasha Foreman. Once we land, we start to target mobile tractor unit. Then these targeted sentry drones come out as well, and we start firing. There is one scenario that you also want to avoid right after destroying the True Sasha Foreman. That is, sometimes your sentry drones will randomly choose the same target. If it's a small one, one-shot it. It's possible that basically within the same server tick, both wrecks are created, and then your mobile tractor unit might just grab the wrong one. I've had it happen, and so that is the reason why at this point, the way I do this is I also target some of these small guys, and as soon as he's destroyed, I'm going to give some of these guards an individual order on these small frigates. It takes some DPS off the field, and it practically guarantees that there's no real one-shots happening within the creation cycle of the wreck of the True Sasha Foreman. So we're there, blop, we get the message, and then what I start doing here is just quickly try and interrupt, although we did just one-shot that one and this one as well, so probably not the best choice, but let's see what my mobile tractor unit is tractoring. Overseer Cruiser wreck, and you can see that we get another one over here. That could have been a bit more of a problem, but we're doing just fine. We'll get our wreck in, and in a pretty good time. We can take care of some of the small stuff as well, like that, while my guards are just now choosing targets, taking pot shots at everything that comes close, blapping some of these small guys as well. It's just very satisfying to see how well this works, to be honest. In the meantime, here comes the wreck. Everything else, damage-wise, I mean, we're very easily staying out of most of the trouble. And there it is. Let's see if we get a good loot drop. It's tractored. And we get, alright, well, it's a faction piece. It's not worth that much, but we've got it. And then, of course, you have the choice, right? You can decide to clear the whole site, or you can keep going, because on the probe scanner here, you can see it has already despawned at the destruction of that True Sasha. So for me, it's not really worth it to stick around even more, unless I really don't have anything more that I expect to find on my rounds. Then I might go for a full loot, full salvage run, but I usually just skip this, especially when we're in the current situation. This is the very first system that I check on this round, and I find a 4 out of 10, which is pretty good, of course. You also get a couple million ISK for destroying the True Sasha Foreman, so that is all fine. We can cut the wrapping. We're heading into Chunka, and we'll do a little bit more, but this happens from time to time. I must say it doesn't happen often, because Dital is a rather busy system these days, and so finding a good combat site here is pretty rare. Lots of people take at least a look at what spawns in system, and when that happens, of course, they try to run the juicy sites as well. So it's more in out and about systems where not too much travel is, where there's fewer people, like here in Chunka, only 3 people, that we find more of those. And this is not bad. 4 signatures, including a couple that seem pretty big, especially this BWR. So we are going to try to first, since this is also a combat site, I do want to know that it's not a good one. I don't expect it, because we already have 38% from the first scan. But let's just make sure, quickly focus on that. It's a haunted yard. For a Gila, you could run that. In an Ishtar, unfortunately, you cannot run that. And then we are going to focus on that BWR signature. Let's see what we got here. Seemed large enough to be a good combat site, and it is a combat site. Okay, then let's see what it is. In one of the last videos I was saying, well, you get really bad runs of exploration as well, where you find absolutely nothing, and then sometimes you get really lucky, like here we have 2 Sanchez Nation occupied mining colonies right after each other, just one jump out. That's kind of crazy. We'll take a quick look at what these others are again while we head into the signature. I'm kind of curious about the D-scan. That's Tusia Foundry stuff. Not spotting anything. So I think we'll have it as well. And this is something that I've also noticed from time to time. If you do a lot of exploration, I think you will have this happen, that it feels like the site that I just completed in Dital is the site that has just spawned right here in Chunka, and that I'm basically going after the same thing. So this is the relic site. That's not too useful. And yeah, I'm definitely first. Very good news. So let's get this going. Let's get our sentry drones out. Let's start targeting some of the small stuff. Although it feels like they're in a slightly different... Oh, and that's also a relic site. In a slightly different order this time. Let's get going. Targeting all the small stuff. Let's take a little bit more distance for the sound here. Go like that. Come on. Why the hell doesn't that one want to come in? Like that, like that. Good. Blop, blop, blop. Okay. This is really odd though. All of these small frigates are a bit too close. Is it possible that someone came in, saw, hey, that's not something I can handle, and then decided to leave? Well, perhaps it is possible. So... let's see if my guards can still handle that, despite the fact that they are quite a bit closer than what we normally experience at the warp-in. And I'm having some click and hold problems. This guy at 12 is gonna be a problem, I think. Let's see if my lasers can handle that. The rest of them, that's not a problem. Even these cruisers feel like they're a little bit closer than what we're used to. Let's focus on this one. And yeah, this, within 8 kilometers, let's see if... Oh, and I should definitely not forget to rep. Yeah, this feels odd, right, compared to the previous one. I mean, we'll weather the storm without any real problems, but they were right on top of me, way faster than what we normally have, and as a result, we are struggling to take these guys down, especially that one at 5 kilometers. I don't think we'll be able to actually tackle that, so let's see if we can still do enough damage on the one at 11 kilometers while we try to take down some of these cruisers. That one is also within 10, so my lasers are not doing sufficient damage. Yeah, we have a couple of small guys left for the end. Well, it'll be fine. Ooh, and a Centum slaughter at 10. I wonder if my sentry drones can still track that. We'll also stop this. We're getting at least some hits. Half the shields are gone. Ooh, that's not bad. That was 4 out of 5, I think, right there. That's only 2 out of 5, so this is getting worse. But it seems like these are big enough that even at 8,000 kilometers, when they can't track any of these small targets anymore, they can still handle these cruisers just fine. Okay, I really do think that someone came in here in like the wrong ship. And that they were like, nope, we can't handle that, we gotta get out of here, and that's why here the sentry drones are basically running behind a little bit. They're not at the ideal distance from us. Interesting. Hasn't happened in a very long time. So we'll take this guy down as well here at 22. Should be pretty much optimal. Then we get another nice test at within 10 kilometers for this mutilator. But the guards are doing really amazing work despite all of these problems. Look at what's left, next to nothing. And this faction armor rep is of course also keeping up very, very nicely. So let's see how we track this mutilator. That's 3 misses in a row. That's only gonna be my laser. At least we get a couple hits here on armor, and they are big enough that we will chew through that. But it does show that within 10 kilometers my sentry drones are suffering a little bit with actually hitting these targets. Still, the cruiser is going down, so that is fine. We'll return these guys to drone bay now. We'll start approaching the gate, and then I'll use my small drones, which is, as I've explained, why I really love the Ishtar. Just give them a couple of orders, activate the Microwarpdrive, and everything will go down quickly and efficiently. Normally. Plague, there we go. Return to drone bay. They should be fast enough to catch up pretty quickly. All aboard, stopping the repping, and we'll take the gate, do a quick stack all. Here's my mobile tractor unit, and we are ready for room number 2 in this second Sage's Nation occupied mining colony, and we're about 15 minutes in. That is not bad at all. Let's move. Let's see if we have no surprises here, but normally you can't get through the gate without destroying everything. So again, just look for true Sansha right here in the type. We got him. Once I can start to target him, I also drop the mobile tractor unit. Then we get a sentry drone, and this does feel a little bit more natural. This time I'll switch it up. We'll take one of these battle cruiser type hulls, at least it's marked as a battle cruiser, as our second target to make sure that we don't get an accidental one-shot for the mobile tractor unit. Full hits on the true Sansha Foreman, so he is going down decently efficiently. 2 volleys, full shields were gone. Here is a 4th volley. Its armor is now at 50% on 5. It does rep a lot. I mean, the true Sansha Foreman, look at its repping capabilities, which is why I'm actually a little bit worried about the Edencom cruiser here. It's gonna definitely not work with the mobile tractor unit, because the Vorton projector is gonna zap around, grab some of these frigates, destroy them, so you can't use this specific tactic, I don't think. But the problem is, how long will it take for it to break that true Sansha Foreman? If you're not tick 2 and fully committing to damage, I think you'll end up in trouble. Look at how long it still takes, at how much repping that true Sansha is still able to do. Despite the fact that, I mean, this is decent DPS, fully focused on that main target. And here we go, are we? Yep, Overseer Rick is coming in our direction. And then if you want to take some damage off the field, just take some of these frigates that are still further away. And we should be able to sometimes blap them automatically, sometimes target them and take them down. So this is working pretty well, I would say. And then, yeah, 18, alright, we still got that one. Let's also fire my lasers at the Slave Hunter. But once the rep gets going, I mean, they can't really break me unless all of them get within optimal range. And it's mostly the cruisers really that matter. But the first room, that was quite a bit. Not very lucky in the loot drops here, because that's gone as well. One of the relic sites is run. So I'm gonna scoop you to cargo hold, return these drones. We'll do maybe a couple more systems here. But this is when exploration gets fun, of course. It feels like there's even some people out there that are not too familiar with exploration, that are looking around, and this is not bad. 2 of these combat sites in the first 2 systems. That is a pretty damn good start, and I think it's also a very good demonstration as to why I love the Ishtar here. So versatile, but also so capable on when it's needed. You can focus that fire and you can take down that true Sansharat without any real problems. Let's take a quick look at Tashina's next. There's only a Sansha Den and 1 signature. Let's quickly run that. Doesn't immediately look like it's gonna be large enough for what I want, but we'll take a quick look at it. And again here, compared to Dital, this is of course far more reasonable in the number of people in local, giving you a much better chance at actually finding and doing one of these good sites. And this is why I love exploration. Sometimes it's super fast, sometimes you're lucky and you get some really good sites right off the bat or right after one another. And sometimes, well, it's a little bit slower paced, but then you have these alternatives like the Sansha Den that you're seeing here, which can potentially escalate to a good site. Same with the refuges, same with the data sites. Honestly, I've seen some of them that have been paying me out substantial amounts of ISK all of a sudden, so that is definitely to me personally starting to look like a worthwhile activity. There's always something to find and to do in exploration, especially when you're using a ship like this that can basically run anything that you encounter. And that's one of the main activities in EVE Online that I enjoy. It's also so solo friendly. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to say I'm gonna build a corporation around explorers or I'm gonna invite someone to fleet to explore. No, this is your activity, your sites. You'd love to be the first there, run it as efficiently as possible, and then get all that potential loot and reward for yourself. We'll do one more. Well, this is just a refuge, and we actually have a raptor back there that's blinking. Security status below -5, so that's not too interesting. Well, this was a pretty good start. I basically got super lucky, and there's some of the payouts as well, a couple million from the True Sanchez. I wanted to show you guys some exploration. Last time I actually went mining because it was such a dry spell, and now you can see how chances, how all of that can turn around. I'm very lucky here. Undock, 4 out of 10. Second system, 4 out of 10. And with a little bit of luck, we'll find even more of them later on. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.